Good morning. I grew up in a good old-fashioned New England Congregational church where Lent was a season that was basically passed over until Holy Week, right before Easter. The exception might have been the first Sunday in Lent, when the pastor could focus on the rather exciting story of Jesus, who, in the midst of a 40-day fast, confronted Satan and in 3 drama-worthy conversations put him in his place. But that was it until Palm Sunday and Maundy Thursday. You see, when I was growing up, Lent was understood as primarily a Catholic thing. Just the kids who attended the local parochial school received ashes on Ash Wednesday. And my father used to comment, tongue-in-cheek, on all the people he had seen with dirty faces in New York City that day. Likewise, only my Catholic friends were regularly served fish sticks for Friday dinner in February and March. They were also the ones who could and would loudly complain about the difficulty of giving up something for Lent, be it chocolate or a TV show, though generally not their favorite one. Such sacrifices. Several decades ago, however, Protestant churches began to look less askance at the season of Lent. Ash Wednesday services became common for a start. Although the sacrificial aspect of the season never really caught on, we as pastors frequently alluded to the spiritual value of giving up something, be it sin or anything else a little less daunting, as we inspired our congregations to embark on their own Lenten journeys surely to take them into the very darkest part of themselves. And so it was with great delight, actually, that I read what my colleague, Emily Goodnow, was asking of her congregation this Lenten season. Emily clearly recognized that we have all given up so much this past year because of COVID. For many of us, our physical, mental, and/or spiritual health has spiraled downward. We don't need a Lenten journey to take us into the very darkest part of ourselves. Too many of us are already there or have been at some point since last March. And so I deeply appreciate Emily tweaking our usual perspective on Lent. Rather than giving something up, she is encouraging members of her congregation to take on a spiritual practice. It might be starting a meditation or prayer routine. It might be writing, journaling, or painting on a regular or at least quasi-regular basis. I would add to that list simply giving yourself permission to rest each day, or regularly contributing to your local food pantry, or reaching out by phone, email, texts, or even a handwritten note to people you haven't heard from in a while. For myself, I am doing a daily yoga practice and trying to keep a gratitude journal. Whatever you choose as a spiritual practice should be something that will bring you closer to Jesus, to Spirit, to that part of you that connects to something greater than yourself, or makes you ever more aware of the sacred web that connects all of us. And so I encourage you this Lenten season to think of these 6 upcoming weeks not as a time to give up something, especially with everything that has happened this year. Making a commitment to sacrifice even more is just too much for many of us. After all, aren't we looking for ways to build up our lives again rather than continue to diminish them? And so I would encourage you to take on a spiritual practice, which Emily defined as anything done regularly, and you defined the regular, I would add, anything done regularly that deepens your connection to God or Spirit. By doing so, my personal hope is that Lent will be a more meaningful time for me this year. But even more so, my hope is that I will become newly energized to live out in my own life all that Jesus stood for.